Okay. Finally. 4 minutes in. Watch a live stream, you never know when they're going to start. Just like I don't have a script here. Just gonna go over some things regarding the current version of SongVisualizer. Currently, version 1.8V Alpha. Now that's important because the last time I streamed was version 1.4U Alpha. So what that means is I've had to update this quite a bit. There's quite a lot of changes since session 495. This is actually session 496 right now. So you could see on this particular start menu that the program is currently on. I've gone through different backgrounds. I still have them all saved. Different variations of this. This particular background is just one of those settings. Be cool to cycle between the different backgrounds. Maybe I could do that in a future version. But I was just hoping to go through the changes that I've made over the span of, how long has it been? Up to 2 months. Practically every aspect of the program has been modified in one way or another. This version that I'm currently running is actually on Steam. Like I'm running it through Steam right now. And that has been one big task. Getting that application built with all of the assets and layers took days, to say the least. So this is currently streaming on Mac. But the nice thing about this version is after 3 years, and in particular about 4 or 5 days in a row of programming nonstop, I accomplished the goal of maybe something I should share on a Windows stream. But I had to get this working on Windows and Mac. And one giant focus was on the main gameplay section. This particular screen. And detailing of the other screens. You see backgrounds here, backgrounds here. Just polish. So it does have FPS frames per second trackers. Trying to get that 60, and it goes through stages of functionality to performance across several different hardware devices. So that has been a difficult goal, but not impossible. So in the settings, this has been revamped quite a bit. In particular, new options, GPU accelerated nodes. We'll get to the particle explosions. But what that means is, before I had a hybrid blend of CPU to GPU. And to say the least, I had room to optimize to move things away from the CPU and just to the GPU. So less of a hybrid, more of a dominant. So there's far less calculations that the CPU has when the GPU accelerated nodes is on. It could be some ridiculous number above 300% increased performance in terms of smooth, consistent 60 frames per second. And I had to dive down a rabbit hole regarding sleep, precision sleep. It's not as simple as saying I want 60 frames per second. There's a lot of offsetting when it goes frame to frame. And it's kind of strange how the buttons look differently across Windows and Mac. The Alt-Lead button in particular is not wide enough. Settings button is not wide enough. So while my screen as a client, whatever, playing the software has smooth 60 frames per second during the gameplay now. I'm not sure how OBS recording streaming will portray it. But on my screen across Windows and Mac, I was able to synchronize the smoothness, or I was able to calibrate, I should say. So there's a calibration screen that I'm not going to do right now, but you run this calibration screen and it saves CPU and GPU settings, which was really tricky to get on Windows and Mac. Well, dang it. That should give me I should update this button. I'm actually stuck on this screen, so I should add a setting to confirm, not restrict. Hold on. I'm soft locked. Oh, never mind. I just hit it back again. So that's an idle screen now, like a screensaver. Before it would automatically trigger. Now it just triggers when actually idle. because it was irritating how the idle screen would automatically load within seconds, and it would increase the delay between my ability to press the start song button. So I had to make the idle screen act like an idle screen and go idle after time. And now another thing cool here is this open GP5 screen. Nice dynamic background. Still trying to get 60 frames here as well. The graphs look good here. Recently played songs section. Stats. Trying to optimize or enhance the UI on this particular screen. It's still a bit all over the place. This right section has a little more analysis. One of the biggest things that maybe actually, I don't know, you should have caught it when because on this screen, the previous version of 1.4U Alpha, I had different background idle animation icon going across the screen. And in this version, I have different versions, but in this version, you have you see how on the top right, what these are? Now look at this main player. And why is it highlighted? Must be a button. Not sure I want to dive into that player, but you can kind of guess. Career mode, I did some optimizations to get working with the player concept. Including when you play, the set list looks better, more organized. Gonna change the set list here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. Should save it consistently when you go back and forth. And the loading time here is non-existent. Start menu, the career. What's it gonna take at level 1, 3 minutes to 12 minutes. I even optimized the guitar input concept. Okay, so on OBS here, it's a little jittery, but let me check my monitor settings real quick. Hold on. Oh, okay. Actually, the monitor is 60 frames. There is a warning that I have if you have different than 60 frames. Okay, let's see. Kind of tempted to play here. So it goes to 12 minutes. The note movement too, heavily optimized to consider per frame, less stutter, more smooth note movement. One unintended consequence I can't tell if I like or not is the arrows staying consistent until the sustain is over. The hammer-on pull-off I wrote in the notes. There's something here. Start menu. Known issues to do. Quite a bit. Known issues pausing when resuming. Just a giant to-do list. All the different scenarios encountered. This logic. Every aspect of the project I had to modify to fit with the new concept, which is why this program is alpha. There's data modifications that require restructuring to work with previous data due to the schema design changes and a lot of backwards compatibility and synchronization and all that stuff. Trying to prevent data loss as much as possible. Database screen has the cool background now too, in UI concept. Leaderboard has it as well. Going to the song goes to the right play on the leaderboard. Currently focused to current player on this screen. Hint as to what this player does. All right, here we go. Here's player. This is new, required pretty much a whole lot of rewriting of every aspect of the project. Everything is organized by player profiles now. So I'm level 50, my profile's active, my favorite tuning, E standard, favorite arrangement lead, favorite artist, kill switch. That's funny because my favorite tuning is E standard, but my favorite artist has been kill switch, which is drop C. So I'm set in this profile. And there's just a lot of things that this has gone through. Well, why is that capital? That's weird. I didn't do caps. So now I'm as tester, but that should have triggered something. But it didn't. So I'll come back to that. Because if I restart the program as that user, it would trigger a whole flow that it should have gone through. But it's not quite consistent. That is a lot to consider. Back to my profile. So, okay, so the only thing I did when switching profiles was I focused on switching the profiles here. Career. See, now I switched profile on level 1. Gotta start over. Only a few, 4 states at the moment. I gotta continue this career mode though. completed 2 drop Cs. Oh no, E flat. Then this rhythm and lead shouldn't be green because I didn't complete them in drop C. This UI could be a little improved for the user to understand how to read this. Because I read it as, oh, I have drop C selected, lead is completed for drop C. But on the right, it shows it's only all completed for E flat. These green arrangements should only be for the tuning that I'm in. Man. Well, aside from that, it said I completed E flat, rhythm and lead, difficulties 5 and 8. This took a lot of work to get right. Loading all the assets on Mac from Steam. Guitar input has a different background. It's possible to get this tied to guitar input actually, but right now animations are just drawing dynamically. Not sure how frames are on this particular screen. Might require optimization. And tuning screen I updated. New screen. Let's see if I could test particular test songs I had that I don't know if I have on this computer. It was on my Windows Mac, and I never took the Windows files to this computer. But I think I know a song. Nope. Well, there's a new screen, which is I was trying to show. Maybe that one. Nope. One of these had the screen pop up, but I might have fixed it in the game since then. Oh, here we go. So synchronizing the track arrangements. Oh, I forgot I could do this screen manually. Like if I go to a song that does have it, I go to settings, track setup. So the biggest achievement was the note movement and consistency with the 60 frames. Oh, right there, jitter. Dang. See right there, I would have to analyze why are the notes jittering. Because there's an issue when starting it would jitter, but then stopping and starting it over would not, which would lead a hint as to the debugging. So that was on the note start. And tracking the flow is the way of optimizing that from not occurring. See, it's not occurring anymore. Whatever flow I did triggered it. This tempo is too fast. That's one way. In the career mode, it kind of tries to set you to a specific tempo, but you're still able to change it. So it seems like when you start the song, that determines if it'll be smooth or jittery, which is strange. But it gives like a hint as to the occurrence as to why. It's not a performance problem. It's more of a calibration synchronization problem. Fixed all of the visualizations. Look at the stats. They're not the best, but oh, that's not fixed. But you see that error screen? That's new. You get an error in the game. It's no longer a separate pop-up. It's actually built in, which took a huge amount of work. So basically, I have a developer mode and a Steam mode. And there's a lot. They have differences. What that error say? Yeah, each graph of these was having an error. Thought I resolved it all. Int and none. Yep. That could be all.